Today is my birthday, happy, happy birthday. Today is my birthday, happy birthday, hey. Hi friends, and welcome to my channel where we encourage each other to be better and do good. Today we're going to be talking about our trips around the sun. Yes, indeed, you caught me singing happy birthday to myself. Well, that's because today really is actually my birthday. So if you feel compelled to send any gifts this way, just go ahead and do it. Hey, Amazon gift cards are always welcome. But seriously, you know, having another birthday gives me a moment to pause and reflect and share some ideas with you that hopefully will be encouraging. You know, every time we finish individually another trip around the sun, another year has gone by, hasn't it? And almost all the population of the world, in one way or another, celebrates that event that we call birthday. It's just a recognition or a celebration of the day that individually each of us entered life upon this earth. And you know, those celebrations might look different. There could be all kinds of things. It could be a big party with friends and relatives, friends and family, or it could be a more intimate small dinner with just a few folks that you invite. Certainly there's birthday cake and ice cream, and the blowing out of candles and making a wish, often accompanied by, hey, the receiving of gifts, cards, a text, a note, maybe a phone call, and of course that little note, that little post on Facebook saying happy birthday, because Facebook makes it easy for us, don't they? They remind you when it's your friend's birthday. But every time that it's our birthday, we've completed another trip around the sun, and we get one of those phone calls from a friend that we haven't seen in a while, or we get a text or a note, a birthday card in the mail, or even that just post on Facebook. Well, hey, that makes us feel good, doesn't it? It brings a little spark of joy, a little bit of happiness into our life. Because you know, it helps us realize that, hey, somebody knows who we are. And somebody realizes it's our birthday. We are having a celebration of that journey around the sun, and they recognize that. And number three, most importantly probably, we realize they took time out of their day. They took time out of their life to celebrate with us in some way, even if it's just that note on Facebook or a text, a phone call, or a birthday card. They took time out of their busy schedule to make us happy. Well, when's your birthday? You know, mine's today, right? October 26th, and maybe you and I share a birthday, but for most of us, it's going to be on a different day, isn't it? You know, two of our children are twins, and therefore being twins, were born on the same day. But the interesting thing is that they were also born on their mother's, on Lori's birthday. And it's been really intriguing to us over the years to learn how many of our neighbors and friends share that same birthday of May 25th. But for most of us, it's a different day. And then I ask you this, how many trips around the sun have you made? Well, again, for most of us, that's going to be a different answer, isn't it? But many of us are going to fall into the same number of years and same groups. And I want to share something with you that I have observed over time from generation to generation. You know, that there is those generations, aren't there? There's the group over here they've only made 20 or 25 trips around the sun so far. There are the younger children, then there's this middle group who've made 40, 50, maybe 60 trips around the sun. And then over here on this side, there's this group of people who have made 70, 80, maybe even 90 trips around the sun so far. But here's a tendency that I have noticed, and I want to call it to your attention so we can think about it together for just a moment. You see, there's this tendency for this group over here that's only made 20, 25 trips around the sun so far to look out there at that group that's made 70 or 80 trips around the sun and say, have an attitude like, they're washed up, they're old, they're on their way out, they have nothing more to offer. But listen now, stay with me. See, that group over there also has a tendency, don't they? They look at this group that's made a trip of 20, 25 years, our trips around the sun, 20, 25 years old, and they say, oh, those young people, I just don't understand them. I don't understand their values. I don't understand their ideas. I don't understand their, music. Music always comes in there somehow or another, doesn't it? And somebody needs to sit those young people down and give them a good talking to. Well, you see, here's the thing. Both groups have so much to offer. And not only to offer to society and to the world, but to offer to each other. You know, if you're down here in this group, you've made 20, 25, 30 trips around the sun so far. Every time you made that trip, another year went by and you gained another year of experience. But just think, listen. How many years of experience have those who've gone around the sun 70 or 80 or 90 plus times so far? What experience do they have? You know, sometimes if we're going on a trip or a vacation, we'll mention it to somebody ahead of time, and that person will tell us, oh, I've been there. So since I've been there, let me share with you. Here's a place you definitely want to eat. This is delicious food, great service. This place, avoid. It's a dump. Oh, when you look for hotels, stay at this one. It is so nice and the price is just right. Don't go to this one. Oh, you'll hate it. Here are attractions that you will surely want to see, and here are some attractions you want to avoid. And they can tell us that because of their experience of having already been where it is that we are going, right? Well, the same thing is true with these trips around the sun. Young people who have only made 20, 25, and you got that experience each year, just look at the experience that these over here can share with you. They can, because of their experience, their many trips around the sun where they learned and they gained wisdom, they gained experience, they can share with you things to be sure to do along the way, but also things to be sure to avoid. But listen, on the other side, those of you who've made 70, 80 trips around the sun, don't discount these young ones over here. No, these who've only made 20 or 25 so far, they have so much zeal, so much enthusiasm, so much energy that they are bringing into life, that they are bringing into the world. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. If you're in this group, go find a friend from that group. If you're in that group, go find a friend from this group, because you can learn from each other and together help make the world a better place. All right, so you know when your birthday is, you know how many trips you've made around the sun. So here's the third question for today. How many trips do you have left? Sorry. So let's ask it a different way. What trip around the sun for you individually is the most important? You see, today is my birthday, so I'm finishing one trip around the sun, but I'm beginning another. And you may be, if you share the same day, starting one today, you may be in the middle of your trip around the sun, somewhere along that route. Which trip around the sun for you individually is the most important one? And I'm going to suggest to you today that it's the one that you're on right now. The one I'm beginning right now. The one that maybe you're in the middle of right now. Because you see, we all know when our birthday is. We know how many trips we've made around the sun so far, but none of us know for sure how many trips around the sun we have left. And since we don't know, I would suggest to you that it's the one that we're on right now that is the most important. So here's what I want to encourage us all to do. Some of us to start doing this, and some of us who are already doing it, just encourage us to try to do a little bit better with it this year. Because you know, at the end of each calendar year, we celebrate the end of that calendar year with New Year's, don't we? And we tend to make New Year's resolutions. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, we're all joking about how we've already stopped those resolutions. Well, instead of making a calendar year resolution, I would like us all to make our own personal, individual trip around the sun birthday resolution. That resolution that applies to you, because here's what I want to encourage us to do. If this is the most important trip around the sun for you, the one you're on right now, then I want to encourage you to make it the best. Make it the best trip around the sun you've had so far. And some ways you can do that are making resolutions, not New Year's calendar resolutions, but things that apply to you individually and personally. And some of us can make a very long list. Others of us can come up with 2 or 3 things that, hey, I should get better at this. And we'll talk about that more later on. But I want to suggest one specific small thing to you today. That again, if you haven't done this, that maybe you would begin. And if you are doing it, maybe we get a little bit better at it. Go back to where we started. You know, when we look at birthdays for people, let's begin to help them celebrate that day. Send a note. If you haven't done this, listen, if before or right now, you are one of those kind of people who just kind of scrolls through Facebook and you say, oh, I see it's Alan's birthday. Oh, that's nice. And you just keep on scrolling. I want to encourage you, listen, to stop scrolling and say, oh, it's Alan's birthday. Let me type, happy birthday, Alan. Have a great day. And send it to him. And it doesn't have to be Alan. You could start with me though. It could be happy birthday, Cindy, happy birthday, Larry, happy birthday, friend, whoever it might happen to be. Now, if you want to get really bold with it, yes, you could send a personal text, or you could send a note. You could make a phone call, or send a birthday card. I know you got to go out shopping, you got to spend some money, you got to have postage, all that. So start with the small things or continue with the small things and enhance it. Because listen, here's what happens. When that person gets that text or that Facebook post or that card in the mail, what you have done is put a little spark of joy into their life. You've shared with them a little bit of happiness by sending blessings their way, by sending well wishes their way, by wishing them a happy birthday, by wishing them a good day. You've brought a little bit of happiness into their life. And maybe even more importantly, I firmly believe when you do that, when we each do that, we not only put happiness and joy into their life, it also rebounds, doesn't it? And it puts a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness back into our own life. So when you go through this year, your trip around the sun for this year, and you're putting here and there just a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness into this person's life, helping them celebrate that occasion and saying, happy birthday, have a good day, have a nice day, happy birthday to you. Every time you do that, you put a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness into their lives, but every time, each and every time, that comes back to you and puts more and more joy and happiness and peace into your own life. And that accumulates all through the year as you make that journey around the sun, so that when that journey comes to its conclusion and it's your birthday time and somebody says to you, hey, happy birthday, you can say, oh, it sure is. So if today you share a birthday with me, let me reciprocate and tell you, happy birthday. Wherever your journey is around the sun at this time, whenever your birthday falls next, let me be the first to wish you a very, very happy birthday. If you enjoyed the video, thank you so much for watching. If you could go down below, click that thumbs up, give it a like. I would so much appreciate it. Share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to my channel. Videos come out each and every Monday, and I thank you for watching. See you next week.